Hello children, in my previous video I explained you the first part of the second lesson of Flamingo textbook Lost Spring, and in today's video I'll explain you its second part to you. Now let's see. In this story the main character is a boy named Mukesh. Mukesh lives in a town Firozabad. Firozabad is a town famous for its bangles. So he belongs to a family which is engaged in bangle making since generations. So he lives there along with his family and does the work of bangle making. Upon meeting him, the author wants to know that what he wants to become. So he says that he wants to be his own master. And what he wishes to be, then he tells her that he wishes to be a motor mechanic. And when she asks him that if he knows anything about cars, he says that he wants to learn to become a driver. Almost all the families of Firozabad are engaged in bangle making, and they involve their children also. It's told in the story that around 20,000 children are involved in bangle making industry, and their parents do not know that this is illegal to involve children in such a profession. It is illegal because the little children are in this industry. They sit in dark rooms with high temperature in glass furnaces where no air or light is there, and because of all this they are working day and night in the glass furnaces, and because of this soon they lose their eyesight also. Mukesh very happily tells the author that his house is being rebuilt and he wishes to take her to his house. So both Mukesh and author, they start walking towards his home, and on the way the author finds that his house is among stinking lanes which are choked with garbage, and the poor homes with broken doors and no windows with crumbling walls are there, and the homes and the whole street is crowded with families of humans as well as animals, where they all live together in a very crowded manner. When the author and Mukesh reach near his house, there is an iron door which Mukesh opens by pushing it with his leg. She finds that his house is half built one, and it's having a thatch made up of dead grass. On entering the house, the author finds that his elder brother's wife, a very lean and thin lady, is cooking evening meal for the whole family on the firewood stove. Then his father enters his house, and as soon as he enters, his elder brother's wife covers her face with a veil and she moves back behind the door in order to pay respect to her father-in-law, as is a custom in most of the areas in India. So his father, now author tells us about his father. His father has worked hard since years, and first he was involved in the business of tailoring, and after that he involved himself in bangle making, and now since years he was doing this business only. He was not able to earn this much of money with whom he could have renovated the house, or he could have sent both of his sons to school. So there was no education and no renovation, but one thing that he taught them very nicely was how to make bangles. Now the author tells us about Mukesh's grandmother, who is an old lady, and she tells the author that her husband went blind with the dust of polishing bangles. Upon asking, she says that, can a God-given lineage ever be broken? And she says that because we are born in the family of bangle makers, we have to continue with this profession only, no matter whatever happens to our children. But we don't have any other option apart from involving our children also in this business, because with this business only we are earning money. So about the house of Mukesh and all the other people in his area, the author tells us that everywhere nothing else is seen except for Bengals and Bengals all around. And the author also tells us that little children, they go with their parents, they sit before the furnaces and they start polishing the bangles, and with the dust of polish and with the high temperature of the furnaces, they lose their eyesight before even becoming adults. The author feels very sorry for such children because nothing can be done for them because their parents have involved them in this profession and no one can stop them from becoming blind. Among the bangle makers, the author sees one young girl whose name is Savita, and she is sitting beside an old woman and helping her in making bangles. Now the author wonders that maybe this girl doesn't know that what is the use of these bangles in her life which she is making. She says that it's a great irony that the bangles for which she is spoiling her childhood, she'll be wearing them one day when she'll become a bride and get married. So it's a great irony. Now the author tells us, upon asking the old lady, she comes to know that the old lady who was making bangles beside the little girl Savita, she had not even enjoyed a single meal, full meal in her lifetime. So this is a very pitiable condition of the bangle makers that the author has picturized over here. She says that people of Firozabad have always been working so hard since years, since generations, but still they are very much hopeless because all the dreams have spoiled, because they don't earn even this much of money with which they can rebuild their broken houses or they can put a proper roof on in place of the thatches that they have covered their houses with. So she talks about the poor condition of the bangle makers. Upon seeing a group of young men, she advises them that they should form a cooperative. But then she comes to know of a truth that if they does so, they will be put in jail on doing some illegal work and there they will be beaten up. And this all will happen because they have no leader among them. So they cannot even fight for their rights, they cannot even form a cooperative to help their families. Now, upon meeting Mukesh's family and seeing number of things and listening to number of people in the town of Firozabad, the author comes to know of two distinct worlds. One world is of families of poor bangle makers, and the other world is of middlemen, policemen, keepers of law, and politicians who have never allowed these poor people to come above their poverty and think of changing their occupations to live a respectable life. So she tells us that they cannot do anything. They have accepted their destination. These poor children, they have been growing up since generations accepting their destination as a bangle maker because they are born in such castes, in such families in which this occupation has been continued since generations. They cannot think of anything else because they are overburdened with poverty and they cannot earn this much of money so that they dream of changing their occupation. She says that thinking of anything else would mean to dare. Means they cannot even think of changing their occupation like Mukesh. He wants to become a motor mechanic, but he cannot because he cannot give up this occupation which his family has been continuing. Then she says she remembers the words spoken by Mukesh that he wants to be a motor mechanic. Now she sees a spark in his eyes when he says these words, and what she wants by giving the example of Sahib and Mukesh, that these people, these poor people should become fearless. They should be brave enough to know the realities of life. They should be bold enough to change their occupation so that they start living a respectable life by improving their financial conditions. In fact, through these examples that she has given in the story, she wants people also to help such poor families so that they come up and improve their conditions and start living a good life. So that's all in this story.